Okay, this is day 86. This is part 2, and I tweeted this memo out from GCHQ, which is obviously the British Intelligence Service, and this Robert Hannigan, who is a very good friend of John Brennan's, and they actually had a meeting sometime in the summer of 2016, which I think kicked off all these fake dossiers and fake meetings with George Papadopoulos, etc., and Christopher Steele. So this stuff comes across my desk, and I say, if this is authentic, yet another example of Brennan throwing one of my sisters of color under the bus. Stay strong. Here's Brennan, right, and Hannigan meeting in the summer of 2006. It's not Susan Rice, it's not Valerie Jarrett doing this, it's Brennan doing this. Brennan is the state actor that's doing this, and he's doing it with Hannigan. These are the colluders. These are the colluders. I don't believe in conspiracies, I believe in collusion. And I'm a collusion theorist, right? So they're meeting in the summer in London, 2016. I don't have the exact date, but it predates all this stuff with Downer and all these fake meetings in Rome and all the fake Steele Russian agent meetings, okay? And that sets up this whole PP dossier. Now, this was pretty unbelievable intelligence as being the document, the smoking gun, as it were, document that goes through this. And I've had a lot of people say that this matches what's known as an ISA 94 request, which is the request to do foreign intelligence surveillance in Britain. So people in Britain have looked at this that are in the intelligence services and know that. But here it is, talking to Boris Johnson. This is the member of Parliament that used to run the Foreign Affairs Committee in the Commonwealth Affairs in England at the time. You remember him with the kind of the Donald Trump hairstyle. Here's that ISA 94 that we talked about, and then this is the application for the renewal of a warrant for this surveillance. And you'll notice that it's a warrant for surveillance of 725 Fifth Avenue, New York. The 5th and 26th floors. Now, the 5th floor, I believe, is where the kind of campaign headquarters are. The 26th floor, I believe, is where Donald Trump and the inner circle of the campaign is located. Now, that could be subject to change, but this Bannon was referring to this meeting with Veselnitskaya, the baby finder, and Nakhmetchin, the former Russian FSB agent, down here on the 5th floor, and then they probably went up to shake hands of Trump up on the 26th floor. Okay, so now this is for August the 26th. They're saying that an initial project was kicked off, and the project's name is called Project Folsom. Okay, Project Folsom. Folsom being like Folsom praise, seemingly true but not really true. Intelligence gathering into the Trump organization and Donald Trump. Okay, now it's at the request of the U.S. president. That would mean Obama had the chalupa dropped in his lap by Alexandra Chalupa. And again, Brennan is sending Alexandra Chalupa in. And I said late August, this would match with that, and dropping that hot, cheesy mess in Obama's lap. And you only would have Susan Rice and Valerie Jarrett to verify this very quickly, especially if the Brennan and Chalupa said, hey, this is a matter of national security, etc., etc. Okay? So yes, Obama did sign off on this. It's probably a low moment. Well, it is probably going to be the lowest moment of his presidency. These are both foreign and U.S. domestic signals, okay? U.S. domestic signals. So here's the body, this IIOCCO, which is the group which approves these type of things, approving Folsom on the 15th of September. This would make some sense because I think they tried a few other things first. Those didn't go so well, and they decided to green light this project. This would also square with the insurance policy of August the 15th and the money transfers and so. Okay, so this is the 15th where it goes into effect for 90 days. That would carry them through the election, obviously being the 8th of November, I believe, okay, for the 90 days of signal intelligence gathering. Okay, so I think this is going to be retroactive because they ask for a renewal on the 15th of November, and you'll see that in a little bit. I think this is going to be retroactive to April 15th, the exact day of the beginning of the insurance policy, that Peter Stroke insurance policy. If you count it out 90 days, August to September 15th to October 15th to November 15th. Okay, since Folsom start, a clear pattern of actionable leads have accrued. Of course they have. You've set up 4 different meetings with Papadopoulos, with Steele. They say the agent Michael Steele, and they say MI5. Well, it's MI6 now. But when Steele was there, Christopher Steele was there, it was MI5, I believe. And this also, maybe Steele is used as a code word like the FBI uses Strokes. So MI6 might be using Steele as sort of the same way we use it, as a placeholder for some legal process that's being skirted, but we don't want to necessarily name the individual. And there's an attachment here that I don't have in I-7, so I don't know if this is, still don't know if this is authentic. But anyway, on to 4 here. U.S. NSA advisor Rice says that we need to continue this surveillance, and this would be at the 90-day renewal point, okay, which means the surveillance started on August 15th, which is that same day that countersigns with the insurance policy. And then therefore we think Folsom should be reviewed for another 90 days. Now, I deliberately left this out there for about 4 hours for people to take shots at to see what they thought, and most people came back and said it looks pretty good. Here's folks coming in saying, yes, it looks like an ISA 94 request. I'd like to see Bob Barrett's comment on this as well. And a lot of people are talking about his background, about Brennan's background studying in Cairo. Some people say he set up or helped develop out the Muslim Brotherhood front there for the actual operatives there in the Middle East for all the different operations in the Shelf of Africa. And then obviously he goes on and he's very close to the Saudi regime and the Saudi station chief there in Riyadh. Now here's Susan Rice right after the election trying to kind of bolster the idea of continuing the surveillance. She's the one who recommended continuing it past November the 15th. Here we go.
We spoke earlier this evening with former Obama White House National Security Advisor Susan Rice.
President Obama of wiretapping Trump Tower during the campaign. Nothing of the sort occurred, and we've heard that confirmed by the director of the FBI, who also pointed out that no president, no White House can order the surveillance. Justice Department with the approval of a FISA court. So today, I really don't know to what Chairman Nunes was referring, but he said that whatever he was referring to was a legal, lawful surveillance, and that it was potentially incidental collection on American citizens. And I think it's important for people to understand what incidental means. That means that the target was either a foreign entity or somebody under criminal investigation, and that the Americans who were talking to those targets may have been picked up.
And you can see kind of her backpedaling there, trying to cover her tracks there, saying the 4 different agents that we set up Trump with were targets of investigation. This was good. Good intelligence came out of this. I am leaning toward saying that this document is true. I'd like to see more people comment about it. I can't believe more people haven't commented about it. But we'll see what happens over the next coming days. If this is authentic document, then this is really kind of the Rosetta Stone around the timeline of the investigation.